Hello everybody and welcome to the ETF2L 6v6 Autumn 2024 Div 1 Grand Finals between Aware and Loobie. I am Rook and I'm joined by Dumb TM. Dumb, the last time these guys clashed, it was pretty close and exciting. What kind of play are we expecting here today?
I mean, after the game we just witnessed earlier, this will hopefully also deliver, especially also after the losers finals yesterday. All games so far in this Div 1 players have been bangers, even if none of them went the full distance here just yet. No free map fast just yet. Maybe that will change here tonight. I'm very interested to see how this goes. These teams have been doing great. Loobie, of course, great all season. Managed to clinch out the top spot just about. Aware themselves still doing well here, even after a bit of a slump towards the end of the season in playoffs. They're now popping off when it's required. Very much hoping both teams will play to the best they have in store for us.
Yeah, no, I'm really hoping that we get to see a pretty exciting one here. As you said, we had some good matches earlier with Aware winning in the lower bracket finals versus Kuskek, and that was a pretty exciting series. We really got to see the Demonic Full Force, but also just how talented a lot of the soldiers and scouts on that Aware squad are. Now, is there anyone you really want to highlight on that Aware side?
I mean, obviously in Aware the Demonites the narrative, but frankly after the later half of the second map, my eyes are once again on the scout. First map was Buko farming, second map was Omga delivering the goods as well. These scouts are maybe not the big thing to watch out for in some respects as well, but taking any attention away from them for other reasons is backfiring pretty quickly, let's say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you've got that big kind of thing to notice, which is the demo man charging at you and all the noise and frankly, all the talk everybody's doing about it. But as you say, the scouts just operating fantastically on this squad. And we see some great picks coming off across the board with a heavy focus on those pick classes. Now looking over kind of, over towards Loobie, is there someone who's kind of the focal point for that team?
I'm very interested to see how the new additions on this roster will perform. This team went through a minor change throughout the season, swapped out a scout, started with Salty, ending up with Andy now after, frankly, a lot of very high school drama in Division 2 before this point. But it led to Andy being on this roster. They're having faith in him. They still did well, of course, with him here midway through the season, and it hasn't stopped him from getting first place as well. And I'm very interested to see if he can perform the way expected. They put their faith in the new addition here. It has not backfired yet. Very curious to see if he can keep the performance up.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see this team as a whole and how they're able to operate against the strategy they had. As you said, kind of mixed results. They went 3-3 against Aware in the regular season. But I've heard some things about Auto and that he is quite a tactical player, or at least believe himself to be so. And I'm interested to see what they're able to really do to that. Thinking about that, I think something that's really important to talk about this series is the maps, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Aware coming from the lower bracket gives a bit of initiative on the map picks, obviously, to Loobie, who, maybe more so than anyone else, I guess, actually put some thinking about the maps we're seeing here tonight, because if you do go through the history books, then you will very quickly see last season Aware played Gullywash twice, and despite the other map that week, both being close, I think a 3-2 loss and an actual like 5-0 win over Ams's team, the Gullywashes on each of those matches were complete disasters. 5-0 losses each, not even close, completely looking outclassed if my memory serves me correctly there. And I mean, if Loobie has a halfway decent Gullywash, which clearly they must, given that they want to see it here as well, that should line up very favorably for them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see if it's going to work out. My one kind of thing about this is, there's a world where they have the secret sauce. Because I think we were originally looking at Granary, right? And we were a little worried that Odin would have, like, minimal impact. But still had a lot of success there. Maybe we see the same here on Gully. I will be interested to see. But the other maps, I think, are actually, they're not bad for Aware.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of this match should be very interesting for as well, for sure. We'll have Bagel, which is obviously good on as well. That's going to be a big stress test as well. Winning this in 2 for Loobie is going to be very difficult. I think winning this match in 2 will be very unlikely for either side, to be honest. I'm almost certain we will go to 3. If nothing else, if anything else happens, I'll be thoroughly impressed by the winning side of this match. Let's get this ahead of the narrative of whatever comes from here on out. With the last map, of course, being Metalworks as well, I'm very curious. They played this before. Aware might have won, it was a very close affair. It was maybe a bit of an unfortunate one to lose for loobie at the time as well. They really just try to brainstorm new mid fights on the move every time to limited results. I'm having the stats up in front of me actually right now. They ended up winning 1.5. I think one they did technically win, and the other one they won, and then was Matt died and repush and all that. So the mid fights didn't go great. They had some time to think it over and practice some more as well. Certainly have practiced it, I would imagine, more in actual scrims than Aware has anyway, who might have played it once more since then, but probably also only the one time here as well. But cannot forget, while Aware might not get literally any scrims ever because people are scared, they did actually have a warm-up tonight technically, which is this hasn't happened in 2 seasons since they made Division 2 playoffs, of course. So maybe that helps a little bit here. Who knows? That is also, if memory serves correctly, the last time I've seen Odin on Sticky Bomb Launcher outside the last point in the 2 grand finals.
He ran out, and honestly, people in chat were like, Odin's on Sticky Bomb Launcher, this is a free win. But he actually got like a good couple of frags coming out. I was like, wow, he actually can hit those shots. But then, like, I mean, something you were highlighting, I think when we were chatting about it afterwards, was just how quick those switches are. Do you feel like this is a map, or any of the maps we're seeing today, is something where you can kind of see a lot of those switches off? Back into the demo night or off of the demo night?
This is going to come down, especially on Gullywash, a lot to loobie's positioning on the last point as well. Of course, like, it's kind of a 50-50, of course, on the doors, which one you leave on the Gullywash spawn, what you have available to you, and the turn obviously still can impact that as well. But the further away they are from that door he's leaving from, the less likely he gets the early charge. If they play that smart, maybe play people on the ring and behind point, the less likely it is for that to have any impact at all. And that is very much a integral part to how they have the last holds going as well. I've seen like one random other team, I believe in Division 2, try with the funny charge of the spawn once before. So people are trying it out, see if it has any merit to it as well. Just get the one surprise kill there quickly after the sticks have been blown. We'll see if loobie keeps that in mind just now. I feel like Gullywash is a bit more generous in that regard for the pushing team here against that than, a granary, especially with the spawns that we have these days on it. So it's going to be a bit harder to do that here as well. Maybe he will just sit behind point as well and play it safe. Only time will tell. I mean, after all, I have not seen this team much on this last point, let alone on this map at all. It's been quite some time.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. And I think a kind of another thing, talking about those switches, that I think is really impactful. Obviously, we're seeing in the pregame, I don't know about you guys, I'm pretty sure you're not, is we're seeing the sniper at least being warmed up for Buko, which gets me a little bit excited, because obviously Buko coming from playing some Highlander, well, not just some Highlander, sorry, playing Sniper in Prem, and I believe winning Prem on that Sniper. So that could be pretty powerful as well. And I think Gullywash is a map where that definitely can be successful.
Very much. It's kind of interesting as well, and there's some narrative to be spun here that Aware might actually be the more experienced team in some respects as well. Not like loobie is super new players necessarily, but certainly a lot more so than you'd usually see towards the Div 1 Grand Finals in some respects as well. You have some Premiership experience across like half of them as well, but then you have Andy Kajat has, high-level experience, I guess, but not a ton. Rotisha as well, very new as well. Otto picked up some largely newer players with this roster as well, put some faith in them. But even then, I mean, this roster already looked like one of the top contenders going into the season, and certainly has delivered as such. Definitely helped, I guess, by, a strong brain behind the operations here in Otto, who I honestly maybe just enjoys bringing up these new players. He also is always one of the people to look out for in these newbie cups we had the last few seasons as well. Always one of the top teams coming out of that. It has been some of his as well. Mentored, I think, like a Div 2 team recently too at some point to decent success. I don't think they won, but they did well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I mean, it's worked out for him before picking up and putting his faith into, I don't want to say random new players, but
relatively
less proven anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, in bringing together a squad like that is honestly pretty brilliant to see. I mean, especially when you got players who can really start to shine under that leadership. It makes for more interesting teams kind of up and coming, and obviously with that, even if they don't end up staying on the same team, we get to see more and more players with more and more of that experience. And honestly, I think we see a stronger scene as a result. And I think this finals is really interesting for that point. it's interesting to see this demo man, which has obviously been going up and around. Maybe not everyone's so happy to see it, but I think, having people trying out different things shows just, how healthy the metagame really can be in some of those ways. Whereas, sometimes we see a little bit more of a staler approach to, especially some of the kind of stalemate stuff that we see people whipping out.
It's kind of weird how we have 3 demo nights in Europe, yet no one's unironically perma-sniping.
Yeah, I mean, people have tried it before. I think that's the difference.
Many times, yes, but
and it's had some success until teams generally understand how to deal with it and pick it apart. And I think that's the reason why we don't currently have anyone perma sniping.
Maybe the sniper means all cowards.
I
talked with Omga and Buko. Buko would love to perma snipe, but it is specifically very bad with Demo Knight.
Yeah, no, it feels a little bit too much.
Scout, that would be kind of a waste, especially, no discredit to Andrew and Lupus as well. Omga and Buko are both better scouts than them, so swapping anyone out while having the sniper is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Both of them very good soldiers, of course, as we've seen before as well. And that's one of the other narratives for the US side as well. They changed the lineup a bit. They have this new soldier lineup as well. It's kind of an awkward story, or funny story in a way. There's just like half a Highlander team and the other half is just the Bulgarian national team, like half coming together here. And it's been working. They had fun. They didn't even make it far, but they had fun doing it. And now they're here tearing it up still as well. This is maybe how that came together in the end. Managed to snag both those players from that team to the lineup on Soldier, and it's been doing well for them here as well. Very interested to see how that goes. On the other side, I guess, speaking of soldiers, Rotashaw obviously climbing division on his soldier partner, Luca. Formerly mostly a demo main. He's on his soldier arc now. We'll see if that can end on a high note this season here in Division 1 Grand Finals. loobie in the blue, Aware in the red, fighting out for the crown of Division 1 and the automatic promotion into Premiership.
Yeah, also definitely looking for that one. No, surprise. Luca going under already, but is spotted out by Aaron Trier, as they will be looking for kind of the opposite number as well. Luca's now behind, but you can see that demo's already pushed up. And look at that aggression. Odin really wants to get that kill, but it's Otto who falls first. They do trade back, and it will be Keshal falling early on here. But what a rocket from Luca. Does even things up, and that's the med down on both sides.
Quick like that, very bad on loobie. I think that early damage quickly retaliated, sure, by Luca, but still enough to keep them ahead right now. Nice rocket delayed, making this awkward here. They're very split up too, and Andy trying to take advantage of that. Doesn't get the pack in time. Omga hits him with the 2-shot. Beautiful stuff right there. Rotasha just chipped away up on the high ground. Can't really keep position there very well, and by that point, the spawns are back. Welcome back to midfight number 2 of round 1, basically. Buko down early. Aaron Trier from behind picks up Luca right away. Rest of the team struggling for position. Odin makes things better right away here, and they're trying to get across the point, but they're just running into the sword. He doesn't even need to charge there at the beginning to get anywhere. While Kadu against the medic will not be there in time. Demo Man faster than the pipes this time around. Kadu missing a crucial shot. And that will cost them dearly.
Yeah, quick note to our producer that changing the scene would probably be helpful, as currently no one can see what's going on. There we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the radio cast, guys. But yeah, no, really nice, honestly, trades back and forth coming out from both sides. Aware did look a little shaky off the back of that rocket coming in from Luca Enderman to keep them... to keep them honest, but it will still be a last hold coming out from loobie, and they are under expectedly a lot of pressure.
Certainly, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. A lot of this just came down to 2 good plays from under, both on the initial midfield as well as the repush. So nice timing there by Aware to get them this far as well, and we'll see. Otto is close to having 80 and a kill early under the point as well. Does not have chances here, and I think they just call it off. They don't want to have, the big classic car crash with 5 right away here into a team that will have Uber now. They wanted someone under for early pressure, couldn't get that. With that, a lot of avenue to, force Auto out in some awkward positioning is gone as well. We're staying on us a little longer, no early push out of this one at all. Yeah. We'll see how they can develop this one from here. Very awkward one all around here, and again, the mid-fight obviously being... I mean, it was both 2 plays from under as well as just people trying to counteract at the end a bit hastily and just running right into a knife.
Yeah. No, you got to be careful on that, and I think that these soldiers is certainly someone to keep an eye on, because there is just such an elevated importance on those picks that we're going to see here today. I think this is going to be an interesting last push for the simple reason that I think this is the biggest problem for Demoman on this last point. On this map, is this last point is such an absolute nightmare to push. Right?
Well, here's the bright side. And,
okay.
We've been through this before. Buko likes to snipe, and giving up a scout for that on us can sometimes be awkward, but if you just get the kills, it's fine, I guess. And we are trying their best. He dares to snipe on the medic point play at the same time. Pressure from two directions and instantly results here. They're not even falling back, they're just going in. Figure out, whatever, we're not going to leave. We're just going right for the kill. Someone peeks, instant kill onto Gajal, engineer down onto point. Big damage there by the soldier to try to counteract. The pyro still around as well, which does not make life easier for Odin in many ways, but there we go. The shotgun shots come out in the end. Can cliff that just about. Maybe they should have waited. They went 4v4. They wanted to just keep momentum up. Saw the quick kill in front of them and just decided to pull the trigger. Couldn't find a ton else here. Maybe the second pull will go better. Andy down early.
Oh, look at these two soldiers, both getting real aggressive here. They don't manage to find the men, I think, importantly here, and Sake will still be up about 10 over. Not anything particularly massive, but they're going to retake that lobby and set up again for Buko to have that success on the sniper.
Alright, let's see. Not too much threat of that play early there, but the Demon Lucas tries to help out as well, but doesn't have much to play with there already at that point anymore. That will not succeed. 3 minutes almost played on this last point, and while there was a good chance in there somewhere, it certainly is going back to a bit more of a neutral point now, so also slightly behind, but with the spawner waiting to happen. And no position taken towards lobby just yet. There's nothing much to worry until at least they have the charge ready as well. If they can get to use it this time around is a different question.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to see if, frankly, they open up towards that sniper again, because I think you're looking at this sentry position, and as a result now, Auto is in a much safer position. They're going to have to, I think, commit a lot harder, or maybe go for those hero shots if they're going to find anything more than Luca Enderman. But keep an eye on that player in the back. Arantra does get taken down, and already sizing up the opposition is Buko on that back position.
I mean, that's what you want to see here. This is a bit of the awkward one, and you're not wrong with what you said earlier about the Devil Knight being a bit awkward into this point, being not generously cramped. You think it might be nice, but it's just a lot to
There's a lot of elevation.
Get through. Yeah, there's a lot to get up and down and a lot to get through, and the gun is immediately catching you basically anyway. Yeah. It's hard to really get the entry here as well, where on stickies, of course, you would probably just be spamming like near shutter somewhere, usually, to be like the third angle of approach from this two-pronged attack we see from River and Point right now.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, no. Buko goes down.
Can't get Lucas well. Soldier damage, that would be clean up there, however, and still finds it.
Yeah, it's both soldiers down here, so a lot less pressure, but still that Pyro keeping an eye on the point. Won't go down just yet, and won't quite kill the other opposing player just yet, but we'll finish him off just there as you see the demo come on in, get caught. Absolutely there, not able to move a muscle, and really nicely done.
Well, I think this has sufficiently backfired to maybe just move on from last without the time reset as well. That's exactly what they were hoping for, I would imagine.
That's a full
big disaster,
yeah.
Big drop at the end took Sake, who, I mean, hardly was part of any of this, but at the end, they had some dreams there. The power blocking point is probably the smartest thing they could have done there as well.
Looking to move on into this mid here. Keep an eye on the Uber, as that's likely to get used if the pressure is put on. And if I know Odin, Odin's going to try and put that pressure on. Almost does get the demo, and is still alive for now. Doesn't quite make it out, but with the rest of their team finding some good frags, it's not all bad for them, as they are even Stevens in terms of players. But they're going to get forced out of this position, and Buko either needs to leave or... No, he treats 1-for-1.
He's going down on his own terms, kind of. Wants to see some more blood being shed as well. Like you said, it might have been going even on numbers, but they're just not even on Uber, so they had no staying power. Unfortunately here, despite delaying the push a lot, Sake still only at 70 on the second point. We might be going to last here. They might still have a funny surprise. The soldiers and the Demon Knight could still certainly make a move towards an unsuspecting team. Gotta be very careful how you approach this. And it looks like we're playing this just a little slow here for the time being. It wasn't a big advantage anyway, but with people waiting to spawn as well, probably a very understandable reason to wait a little bit, get numbers together, get the buffs going, and, you know, try to take this as safely as possible. There we see the rush towards the back lines already, as you see commenting on this point as well, and not a lot of resistance against it. They're getting this position very early.
It was split massively there. You can see the soldier and scout duo both go diving into their spawn for him.
What? This is the start you want to see from the play behind. Now you just gotta put the finishing touches together. Sake and Gang waiting on the second point on the high ground anymore. Showdown early. Big charge on the demo man as well, and that has not quite gone according to Flat, I would imagine.
No, you have to be really worried about this demo and how they look for these frags. Odin's low will get taken down. Look, killing that scout after you've already used the charge when they've got the beam on them, not so feasible.
Alright, well, Odin may not have found much success there after the demo kill, but the rest of the team cleaned up top quite nicely. That was, at that point, just completely undefended, and hey, forcing back the combo with the Demo Knight while you clean up everyone with 4 people behind is maybe just good enough here, and we're getting back to mid, but I don't know, it's a very awkward one. This is what you see at the end of a mid fight where no one died, and someone will die, if not for the super coming out as well, but I don't think they're going to be very happy having to use a very awkward position by Awa. They might have had some very bad miscommunication.
Yeah, this post-Uber is not... Holy moly! Sake actually makes it out of there, and a couple of flags come through. Luca Enderman falls as well, and then there were 3, then there were 2! This is brilliant for the side of Aware. They didn't look so great coming out of that Uber exchange, but it worked out.
Yeah, they just couldn't find the kill in time there in the corner and just got themselves cornered in the end. All that ice anymore. The soldiers running rampant here. Very well done by, I think, Lucas at the start of that, especially to get the damage in died for the team to do the rest, and oh boy did they here. On the way to last again. Once again, no good advantage. We'll have to grind this out one more time. I would not be surprised at all if we see more sniping out of Aware in these positions tonight. But loobie handled it pretty decently so far as well. We'll see if they can keep that up right now. They are not going to make it any easier, I would imagine, but we'll see. As long as it's not exactly the Mets knife, this has been going pretty alright on last.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing that kind of compounds to the problems for the Demo Knight is they're running a full-time Pyro, so even if you get close to that Med, the Pyro's just going to hit right-click, and you're just going to go away. You don't get to have your fun.
Pretty much. Well, that was the theory a lot of people had, and that didn't last very long. We'll see if it's any better now. For now, it's really just a distraction. We have 3 people waiting at point. It's not really working for any of them. The Uber does still also come out, which
is killed the data. What an arrow came through there to keep Kido alive. Really well played by Auto to keep their team in it and completely squander that Uber.
I'm a bit real with you. Auto might have the best arrows ever, honestly. This has been happening for too long for the narrative to not be exactly that at this point.
Not fair. I mean, I've seen some pretty impressive stuff already, and I'm seeing some pretty aggressive plays coming out. The Uber used here to limited success. They are going to get loops, they are going to get a Rentria, but most of that not really coming off the back of the Uber here. So, Auto maybe a little bit sore about that one as we see Aware set up on this map.
I mean, how much can they set up those? Well, you don't have stickies, so delaying the entrance here is going to be very awkward as well, as long as you can stop exactly the charge from melting instantly, which with sight on Odin is going to be a little bit harder here to do as well. Yeah, the swing and a miss right around the point. Oh! And that's really the med kill right there as well. It's such an easy entry, and this is what I mean. Like, you can't soft hold this with players down at all like that.
Yeah, Andy Dude and Luca with really nice positioning to just jump on in, kind of sit up, putting the pressure on, and the scout just comes in from the side. Really great combo coming through, but the aggression is not going to stop. Certainly killing their med won't stop Aware, and they just pushed that one out. Kishal versus Omga here, and Kishal will come out. That does mean, sorry, Omga will come out, apologies, as they finish off Kido too. So they're going to be able to cap here. Their med's just about spawning. They will have a little bit of ad here. And looking towards this last, you can already see Odin maybe trying to catch someone off guard, but I don't think he's going to have a chance.
Well, Demo Knight or not, I think there was always going to be the Demo and the soldiers jumping to man in that position. You need that kill so bad. You're a player.
For sure.
Gotta get there before they can get out. All 3 of them going in for exactly all they needed, and gives them a chance. It's not huge ad, but it is better than it's been in a hard minute for them into last. Can't let these opportunity go to waste. It's been just kind of Aware in enemy territory the first few minutes of this game. They gotta have something to show for it.
I love this dispenser placement, by the way. It's blocking Odin from going for this charge. Odin sees it now, and it's like an early warning system. Buko does get caught by the stickies, but that won't impact the game state very much. However, trade on Lupus does mean that this team is actually in a really, like, this is again the other thing about Demo, is if you're on the back foot, you really can't hold ground.
Yeah, that's been kind of what's costing them as well. It feels like it lets you keep winning very fast because you get the kill and then you have health back and just can keep going and going. But when you're in the back foot, it's so hard to slow people down. That's kind of how they like got really taken advantage of as well in the losing games they had this season, in the losing maps, especially on the game against the 5th place team against Apex, who did really good work of them once they were on the back foot, just keep things rolling quite nicely. Loobie had no chance really to get them there too much just yet, and the plan B worked the one time we went down mid.
There's one point. That's a lot of time. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, both go down. Vuko once again back to sniper. What else is new?
I mean,
but yeah, you can just tell how Loobie has very much put thought into this matchup. You gotta. A lot of people don't want to. We've seen how that worked for most people this season, but Loobie and Otto have very much done just that. I mean, like I said, Otto played the one last season with a very different roster of course as well, most of which went up to Prem without him. So he's been there before last season, and while he did come out of it victorious, very barely for one of the maps as well, that took a lot of effort and thinking on the fly, that they had a lot of potential to prepare for this time around as well. See if it works out. Cap time is barely all gone at this point.
Yeah, Odin posing up on the right-hand side as long as he gets taken down. They're still trying to work that sniper. Buko's not really been able to find the same kind of success. When they know the key pressure point is coming from that sniper, they can just take those anti-sniper positions at this current moment, and they're really not exposing themselves.
Okay, so like, at what point are we going Scout Demo Knight on point? The Demo Knight's just gotta die slower than everyone else, and the Scout's just there to deal with the Pyro.
Yeah, fair. That sounds funny, to be honest. It might work out. And they've got to find something to crack open this last.
Buko's trying, it's not quite hitting there yet. Lupus is hitting everything instead, double peeking even, sorry, into this little river area here as well, at least to make numbers even. Narrative finally falls as well there to the hands of the Demo Man, not allowed to peek much further. It just comes down to the sniper, right? That's really what it is. Sniper is as good as you are on the class. That's really all it comes down to in the end.
And I think that's kind of a big point right now, and I'm loving this strategy from the side of Aware. They can win outside of last pretty consistently. They've had a lot of success. Sure, they've lost as well, but they've generally just pushed straight back into last. They are working this sniper until it gets like 2-3 picks. My problem is that enough? Because we've already seen two come through. There's the first, there's the chance. A lot of time on the point here. That could be perfect. We just need to clear these last two players. They're low. Aaron is there, and that's exactly the opportunity they needed. You can just sit on the sniper for as long as you need, hold them in last, and eventually you'll get that kill.
Yeah, and the second one dies to the sniper, suddenly you just have to think about it more, and immediately a couple eyes away from point. So much cap time, barely even went even on the trading initially as well, but all it took was Lupus just sneaking in through a main, I think, into secret.
Yeah.
Despite because of all the action, no one noticed that at all, and just sneaks in the last few seconds, I guess, of cap time, and makes it happen.
And I think the beauty of Aware right now is really that they're brilliant in taking advantages off of these picks. And it really shows in how their soldiers play, and how their snipers play, and how their Demo Man plays. However, it will be trades back and forth. Odin does go down, does mean that pick potential is certainly lacking right now. And I think sensibly, Aware back up.
Yeah, nicely defended there as well. Had to deal with a bit of an onslaught there early on, of course. The first mid fight worked because of good damage early. It can't have similar success this time around. Maybe just adapting here already a little bit. Maybe that's enough to make it happen, and unfortunately for them, it will slow down eventually on last. We were coming up at the same time for both medics, but at least they got them finally on the back foot. They've not been the ones in map control so far.
It's going to be stickies out for Odin, and I think that makes sense, right? Here on Gullywash, the stickies are just so powerful. And as you said before, can also swap, can also change off that. So I'm loving the fact that they are flexible in this and very happy to do that. Sticking towards that one strategy all the time, it can lead you with problems. And I think it's sensible enough not to lose that one. You see already, scout on the back point, and the dude is taken down.
We'll see. Surely they're not going to do much with this as well. I've been thinking about this as well. I think this late into the season, just randomly busting up the 6 out of last at least one time might just throw people for a huge loop as well. It hasn't happened yet, and like I said, it hasn't happened in almost a year at this point, since Division 2 Grand Finals, of course. Maybe now's the time. I mean, if there's ever the time to switch things up, Grand Finals would be the time to do a Loobie. Not picking them up just for their own department just yet. We've seen Sniper work before in not just this match, but just in general, I guess, on the last point, right? That multi-sided pressure that is so good on this map is often assisted nicely by the sniper threat, forcing people into certain positions or taking advantage of people blocking the cap, and you just sit in main to have the straightforward sideline there as well. Not what they want to do, not by any means something that might hold them back, of course, as well. You can do this with 2 scouts, 2 soldiers just fine. It's gotta play good off any chance they're giving you as well. Lots of eyes on point for Red means that should be something missing elsewhere, but can't get to abuse that just yet.
Yeah, and despite the fact that when they're on offense, they're obviously playing with this Demo Knight, we do see just a really standard hold. They're clearing the players in water, they're making sure they're not getting backcapped. This is just fundamentally solid so far. They're looking to try and push up in River here, see if they can find something exciting with Buko, but to no dice just here. Buko will just barely survive that. I was a little worried a rocket was going to land.
Yeah, you can't get 2 anti-auto last in this situation. Loobie mostly prepared for this, I would imagine, at this level of play. There's no reason to not expect at least some peek, some bombs, maybe the sniper peek to come forward here. Not being ready for something to happen outside last into lobby on a stalemate like this, you know, loses you games in open and low maybe, but it can't get much worse in the higher divisions anymore at that point. They gotta be ready for it.
We're going to water yet again as the push is potentially looking to start. You can see that they're keeping an eye on it. They want to get rid of Luca in this position. A lot of damage, and Lucas is not dead yet, but
yeah, he has gone for point. Someone has to take his place. Aranthia gets in time, wasn't exactly full health either, but enough to force Andy away, at least for now that he's alone. But the soldier comes back with the power peeking as well. They see 2 people under, you know what's to play for, but Buko will just die. The man has played Scout, Sniper, and Spine Highlander, but not Pyro.
There's still sticks there. They have to be worried about them, so something to keep in mind. And we haven't seen the rest of the team push in yet. But
they want the damage too, and they don't quite get it. The bomb by Aranthia actually gets so dangerously close.
You know, I mean, this is the big thing right now, is again, the impetus is really not on the defending side. They are so happy to hold this. Aware, no, we've got the point. Honestly, that's more than they might expect normally on this map. That could be all it takes. Quick kill coming out. Does mean Rotasho's not going to find anything.
This is unfortunate as well. Even if you get a good kill like the Engineer, you're already down the soldier. There's not going to be any follow-up pressure on that. Unless you switch weapon here, I'm going to be surprised that that was a big fault going into that as well. That's sad. Kajab actually snuck into secret during all of this as well. And we've seen how good that can be earlier, so that could very well just be a round-winning play in the making.
Yeah, that could be really important. No sticks on point at the current moment.
Yeah, he's been spamming the enemy team much more so than trying to keep Eric control of it. There we go, spot him out, still players under, bomb comes in at the same time, but I mean, if Kajal can't get value from that play, the rest of the team is just not gonna have much success, are they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When they lose a player basically for nothing, and they're already struggling to push on in that one, I'm really surprised to not see any off classes yet. They've not tried a single thing on that one from what I can tell, and I mean, maybe it's not up in exactly in their cards. I've not seen too much of this team, but I feel like it can't hurt to try. There's a push out. Old Last tries to come in. That is a lot of overextension here. Still Buko on the on the heavy, but will die out, and you can see the cap is already going on. That's exactly what they needed. They blocked just in time. Sake stands on it as they're gonna heal Uh-oh, gonna make sure, but look at Andidu in the perfect spot. They land on in time, and that's exactly what the side of Loobie needed.
Well, it's like our ancient elder Cadus once said, push equals big mistake.
Yeah.
And once again, it just holds true. They dared to try to play the game and instantly lost around.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like Aware could have completely certified that reset to mid, been completely fine, but they overextend, they feel like they have it in hand, and alas, it slips out.
And there it is, that's the round to Loobie. Back to mid we go. Team takes this one home 1-1 and mid wins so far on this match here. Just cut of the point straight on the medic. Very simple stuff right there. Bomb on top of that as well to just not even give them the chance. And that's the brutal reality here, right? If you have your double man play a roamer and then there's still 2 more bombs coming afterwards, you're not gonna have time to pivot back into any other play.
No, absolutely not. You can already see players looking towards this last. They do not want to lose very much. They're trying to make sure this engineer cannot get anything done, cannot get that gun up, because that means that the demo is way more free to do so. They can't deny it, however, and they will be settling in for another last push. Last time, I think it took them about 11 minutes.
Yeah, it was just about 11 minutes, I think 10 and a half or so. It took them quite a while to get this first round on the board. We'll see how it goes this time around. Here's one awkward start. Lupus dies. Aaron Tree gets the gun at least. Tried to still force it to point. Juggled around a lot. Can't really get to the Devil Man, and this has no wind in its sails anymore.
No, really nice there from Luca to get the kill on Buko and the Med as well. Great jump through. Orendra will have to back off. They got that sentry really quickly, and I understand the willingness to push in, but they were just a little too far forward, not able to find kind of the right options with that Uber.
Alright, momentum all the way back now to the league. They can very much intend to get this at least to last. If Uber is still an advantage state for them, is a different question by that point, but at least they want to get the second point with this one. Mid, certainly not a problem, like we said. Turning these disadvantage states around can be very difficult without, you know, funny stick anywhere, slowing people down, getting a trap kill maybe. It's going to be a lot harder. Second even, it's going to be a tall order to try and hold. Have to snipe one forward still to pull out a miracle maybe. But surely they know better than to move the men forward. Yeah, there we go. The pipe bomb comes through and that's all they were looking for.
If it does get caught, does mean they're going to be lacking a scout, which means probably a lacking of an off-class at the current moment. But look at them come on in. The Uber's already out, and well, Sake is off the board. Really nice, quick and clean push coming out. And loobie turned what was, frankly, a pretty dire situation for themselves into a winning one in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I struggled a bit at the beginning of the stalemates, of course, as well, but who cares about stalemates when you just find these momentum swings eventually somewhere later down the line, and suddenly it's all looking up for them. And if it takes, once again, somewhere a very long time to get things started, they're now benefited nicely with not much time left, but a cozy lead of 1 point in their favor.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing. Demo Knight leads to very swingy games, and if you can't find that last point very efficiently, it's not going to work out. Odin does not get the kill, but some good damage sets up. They take down Kido, they take down Gershal. That's a lot of players off the board already. Sure, Lupus falls, and Ricochet does back off, but you can see Buka is hunting out a couple of those other players, and Auto is gone. You know, Odin's in the back line looking for your medic, baby.
Yeah, it's the age-old story, Gullywash. You know someone's been behind. You gotta do something about it, but if you're not quick enough, then they come back in later, and the rest of the team is not going to slow down on the other side. And while that was going in the back, the scout was running to the point.
They're just going. That's it.
They're going straight forward.
That's a straight recap. Oh, no, not quite.
Clock comes through. It's not though. A very quick conversion, like you said. It can go very quick with Devil Knight for both teams as well. This one's going the worst favor, and all of a sudden, that cozy lead is just gone once again.
Yeah. I think that is absolutely the key word of the day, right? Volatility. These maps could completely turn on a dime, just like Devilman if you use those binds, but those are banned, so don't use those.
We'll see how it goes here. 4.5 minutes left. It's maybe the distance here even on the map. We'll see. Still enough time certainly to get something started. Early damage on auto makes it scary right away. Doesn't need much to kill the medic anymore here as well. The Demo Knight charges through, barely missing the small scout there.
What a damage!
Rest of the team still trying to follow through. Good damage early here. Sake very weak stuck there in a very bad position, but Buko and Omga cleaning up house.
Buko just absolutely huge on this scout. That's another advantage for their team. 4 minutes on the clock, though. They don't have as much to work with as last time. So I'm going to be interested if they're actually able to cut this open. They don't have the complete roll to last like last time. So things are looking very different and much more akin to the 11-minute times, the 11-minute time it took to take this last point in the previous time.
If nothing else, this reminds me a bit of Week 5 at this point. This is just becoming more and more mid-fights where loobie is just stuck further and further back on their own half, maybe in choke even at this point off the mid, and struggling to take position. Something's got to change here. If they have the time to fix it anymore, at this point it's a different question. The push comes in, a disadvantage. Damage comes through here, lacking a lot towards the gun, however, get the demo off the field as well, and that gun's still standing. 2 players down, maybe just try to force it towards point. There's people missing badly, they're hiding behind the gun. They're feeling so confident about it, but everyone on point is just getting taken out one by one.
No one was there to and able to actually assist Roger in holding that point from water. And as a result, it'd be exactly that. They just lost out on Rocher. They spent 3 players to get in there, but it didn't matter once they did. They were holding everybody back in spawn, and we're very happy to do that.
There we go, and suddenly it just went from 2-1 to 2-3 in no time at all, almost barely 3 minutes. All of a sudden, the West back in the lead, and with the pace it goes right now, this still could be anyone's game here.
Yeah, Archer on the low ground is eating a decent amount of damage. Mandy Dude will manage to survive, but here is Lupus, lands some good shots. They can so closely kill Auto, but it doesn't quite happen. Buko was pushing forward and got caught out. Sake is alone right now. Really has to be worried about this one. Arentra will be able to keep themselves alive, and Sake will manage to back out, but both meds are alive. 20 ad, however, for Sake.
We're actually taking the out to do a fight Scout we sold it. Is this what we're doing?
I think that's a losing battle, buddy.
Well, maybe you can hope on better respawns here, but I don't know if that's actually going to be in their favor.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Kido can also like jump forward a lot quicker, I believe, than...
It's not like the don't know the really heavy there as well. The Scout's on point, you're not going to get up there.
Yeah.
So easily. There's like angles you can have for like a funny trimp off the wall or something, but even then...
That's just really pushing it, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're just in the air forever until the Scouts eat your life regardless. So none of that just now. Alright, well, Aware's gonna ask himself the hard questions. How much funny business do we dare do right now for the next minute and a half?
Yeah. Oh, there comes the force.
Right away.
Yeah, but it is the force round back. If they can keep Sake alive for now, they could use an opportunity. Odin just kills Luca outright. They are capping that second, so it will be a last push yet again. Interested to see if Odin...
There's no risk, this is the easiest force of all time. And they're going to go for it, yeah. I mean, the least you want here is the magic user. That's all you need to see, and we see it right away.
Yeah, Gershal backs out as soon as that happened. Really well played, good heads up from loobie here. But there's only a minute left on the clock. They will have Uber in that time, but they've got to use it quickly and they can't slip up.
Definitely as well. The gun comes out, Pyro's out as well. Trying all they can to keep this together, but loobie with the golden opportunity to tie this back up in the final minute of regular time.
This time. That's something I would like to highlight. That could be really crucial with the way these guys have been playing. Uber sends a player into lower here. Buko is waiting for Andidude, but is eating so much damage, eating so much pressure. They take them out, but look at who's still standing. It's the Demo Knight with a little bit of beam. Cannot die. Odin does finally die, but it's going to be Omga versus, and it's going to be the sword that cleans it out, but it's not the sword you expect.
Oh, the script writers were cooking this season, I'm not gonna lie.
I can't believe Kido manages to just about survive that. The med dies to the pipe, he whips out the sword, says, like, you're already dead, buddy, and just slashes through any hope of Aware closing this one out cleanly.
Well, you played Demo Knight, I studied the blade as well, I guess.
We went to school together, was there any blade homework?
Remember me from high school? And all of a sudden it comes back to haunt them. And heartbreaking one for the Scout there at the end. That was like a 20 health demo, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought it was going to be it. I was like, that's just food right there. But doesn't manage to eat it up. And I mean, okay, let's look at this from the perspective of this series. This is 3-3 on the first map. I'm looking for a going all the way to the end. But this is supposed to be a map where, frankly, Aware are supposed to get dumpstered, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't remember them winning Gullywash, like, period. So, I don't know. loobie still with the chance, of course, to win this outright here, and the mid fights are looking a bit more promising later down the line here, but we really got to be careful now what we're doing as well on the next mid fight. Who knows? There's still a lot of funny options you could bust out for a Golden Cap mid fight that hasn't happened yet. Just the past few weeks, we've seen what people bust out the crits to mid. We've seen people try the heavy to mid as well. Yeah. Maybe against Demo Knight, the heavy has some merit on this map as well. Given their position, I don't know if that's true. They're already really far back, so I guess the heavy wouldn't be like slowing things down more than it does already on loobie.
Yeah.
I don't see how it helps them get out of that position either.
I don't think so either. I think I'd be surprised to see the heavy come out, especially since we've just seen no off-classing, like period, coming out from Auto in their team. Like I don't think I've even seen a sniper, right?
There was a very short sniping stint, but that was I think just on last and not really accomplishing anything.
Yeah, so I'm talking about like offensive off-classing, sorry, rather than like
no.
If you're on last point, off-classing's kind of a given, like rather than rather than different, right? So we do have yeah. You want to take it away?
Well, I mean, I don't have them open right now as well. All I can tell you logs-wise is the stats I kept track of as well, which is that what we've seen already is just Aware just wasting too many chances, right? We've been through that. They had these many opportunities, they couldn't count on
The
them.
logs are on screen right now on the video, by the way, if you
Neat.
want to see them.
Oh, that'll change things.
Yeah, well, indeed. I mean, a lot of damage coming out from Kido, as we were kind of talking about before on that demo, finding quite a lot of success on his game. And I think importantly, not dying here on a 5 CP map. I think that's kind of night and day to what we saw in the earlier series we had today, where Odin was just able to kill their opposite number again and again and again and again, and that's what made Granary, I feel, so brutal. This time it was very different, and in part of that might be the fact that they were just sitting on last half the game, but loobie able to have a lot more agency for their demo, I think is kind of the key to actually beating this demo night.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that made Kuskek have a much better game, it felt like, in the regular season in week 2 against Aware than they did tonight.
Yeah.
Where Philip just struggles a lot more to really get going. Last time they played each other, he just was able to do so much more and could do much more in that position himself right now as well. Very, very different affair here to what we've seen earlier today, but who knows? It's a close affair by all means here. Very curious to see in... But the one thing that is for sure is that these momentum swings have just been brutal against Aware.
Yeah. They really
loobie has been winning this game so much last. They ended up spending like 6 minutes on last, and most of that was one stalemate where nothing happened anyway. So the fact of the matter is, outside of that, every time they got to last, it just worked right away, basically.
Yeah.
Because they messed up somewhere else beforehand, and then it just instantly went the whole distance.
It's basically like possession in football, right? Where we're literally sitting on loobie's last, like hanging outside the goal, looking for shots, trying to find that one that actually lands, and it just weren't able to make it happen. Whereas loobie just kind of sauntered up casually and went, kick it in. Easy win for them. And yeah, I mean, it really has been just loobie finding opportunities and really taking advantage of the fact that when the demo night was on the back foot, I promise you, he's not charging backwards, and if he is, he's probably losing.
Pretty much, in many ways. That is kind of just the story. You live or die by the sword, I guess.
Yeah.
In all of this as well. And right now, with the end of the last fight as well, they died by the sword, alright.
Yeah, they did.
Cruel irony. The only way that could have been funny is if it was a kill onto Odin.
if it was full health demos versus each other and they lose the sword duel with the katana, that would have been hilarious.
Can you imagine?
That would have been
People tried that, like Soldier Bomb with Satoshi out. Turns out Market Garden, where you can only one-shot one guy and also it takes 5 years to switch weapons, really bad, actually.
Yeah, and versus someone who's actually, maining playing melee. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust myself, man.
That wasn't the best of times here as well. They have nothing else. loobie's doing very well at playing at cookie cutter, like you said. No switches yet. People have tried many things. And that's always what happens, right? You always see the brain geniuses come out and say, oh, just do this, do that. We'll see what will be successful or not here tonight, I guess. I mean, this is Division 1. There is ultimately a lot of pretty good players here. Yeah, doing what they believe is the best option. It hasn't worked for many, but Otto and Gang still have the chance to make it right in the end.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, this really does set the tone for the series as well. I was coming into this expecting a relatively quick for a Gullywash, meaning 30 minutes. And I was expecting it to kind of go the way, pretty handily, the way of Otto's team. So I'm really surprised to see Aware having the success, and I think it bodes really well for them as the series goes longer. I think Metalworks for them feels a lot more comfortable, more likely than this map, can have a lot more success. It's a lot more kind of, I think, just pliable for the demo man. And obviously Bagel is just like,
Bagel's going to be brutal, but on the bright side, because Jeff and Andy are both playing very well so far in most respects. So if you want to have a chance on that map, those girls will have a lot of pressure on them. They're doing very well so far here, for sure. Certainly, I had my eyes on Andy as well, done fairly well so far. Not seen any major screw-ups of any kind. Can't lose your head over any what happens here as well. Even if they somehow were to choke this, you just gotta stay focused. You get tilted against Demo Knight, that's the secret weapon. That's honestly how they've been winning anything.
Yeah,
just people get tilted.
People are mad, man.
People get tilted just watching this. How do you feel that are playing against us,
For real.
If Autoscan can keep their heads cool, that honestly is the most valuable thing they can have going for them.
100%. And again, I think that's not just like a haha funny playing against Demo Matters tilt, but you are playing against 3 pick classes. If you slip up like massively, you will die. There is no real question about that. It's like if they had an extra Roma, like you would be dying for stepping forward and out of position. So making sure you keep your cool head on, making sure your positioning is good and solid. Obviously, it's a little different. You have to think about demo night specific positioning, but these guys can use their head. I have absolutely no doubt in that, and we've seen it already in this series. Sorry, in this game. We just need to keep them keeping at it, basically.
Yeah, well, teams are live again in a minute. So the game will resume shortly, and I'm curious to see how this midfight will be like. I was aware it's very heavily playing the aggressor on the midfights as well. loobie has been the passive tier on the mids before last time they played as well. Still kind of on that perspective here this time around. That it's just the idea they want to just get distance on their charge. That's what they feel comfortable with as well. Had some success at least this time around, but not maybe as consistently as they would like to see. Nothing else. Maybe it keeps autosave, which is really all they can hope for in many ways. I wonder if anyone switches things up. I mean, if we see like the weird strats come out, Buko sniping to mid, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, it would be spicy. I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I would love to see it, but also I just think it so easily falls apart. And I think Luca Enderman and Roche have been particularly good, especially with like backup from Underdude, have been particularly good at just jumping people. They're quite a scary like trio to really deal with. So I think mucking around with that is not going to work out.
Yeah, we'll see what they can conjure up on this last final stretch of map number 1. It was a close affair here. loobie clutched it back in a very close game into overtime. 15 more minutes, but only 1 round to play for, and these can come very quick as we've seen it.
Already quick jumps coming through from Roche and Enderman. They're sitting up on the high ground. They drop down to support their team, and Odin is behind. But they do spot that out with Lupus going down and Odin going down. As a lot of the teeth pulled from the aware side right now. Luca Enderman already putting pressure onto the Ned. Sake will be able to, no, doesn't quite make it out. And this is the dream scenario for loobie.
Yeah, that was that one behind, but no one to back it up. And at that point, there's just nothing really more to gain. For aware in the end, backlash it goes. Also with the Uber coming up as well. There is spawns in time at least, but they have a lot of work to do here to try to salvage this one.
Pushing out of last is particularly difficult, obviously. And they've had some decent defense for a small period of time, but they still slipped up. And they need to really make sure that they don't do that one. They're going to be down that Uber as well. And things are going to get very problematic for them, I think, very quickly. No crits. They're not trying to, like, maybe catch up with the Uber in any way, shape, or form. But it's a relatively slow position here right now for the attacking side as they finally pull the trigger.
And we Uber in from River right away. Try to force him back to spawn. Not deal a ton of damage, but do get the captain. Just make them get out of there, and they're not doing it in time.
Yeah. No, unfortunately for them, they kind of had the similar problem that loobie had against them. They had one player on point, and they just swarmed them while they locked everybody else in that spawn room. And they just couldn't get on, couldn't deny it at all. At least that one was mercifully short. I think, honestly, I didn't think I could sit through another 15 minutes of Gullywash, especially with that kind of scenario. But yeah, that does mean, I think, importantly, that loobie do end up taking their map pick.
Yeah, they will claim the map they wanted to see. As narrow as it was a victory, in the end, the history is written by the winners, and they're one step closer to writing whatever they want.
They are, but you know, the hero's journey. The hero always has some challenges, and Bagel, that's looking like a challenge for loobie, right?
Definitely, yeah. That's going to be a difficult one as well. I mean, they looked good on it so far today. Let alone the other time I've seen them on a COD this season as well. They just looked very confident on it. It has been done before against a weaker lineup, but that season just wasn't very good for them in general. So I don't know how much that means.
Well, I think it might be pretty successful for them. I've been pretty impressed with Kershaw as well. And obviously, this is a map that puts a lot of pressure on and focuses on your pocket scouts. So I think it could be pretty successful for them.
Well, they had to be ready for this, right? If Aware went through a playoffs run to get here, you can't ban both COF maps. you will play one of them.
Yeah.
It was inevitable. And they're not going to let Buko play the product. It's never going to happen.
True. That does sound like a pretty terrifying prospect.
He might not ever get to do that. Everyone will ban it against him. But that also means they'll get plenty of time to practice Bagel as well on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's not like Aware is, just taking L's on that department in the map picks. They still get to play a map they want a lot. And just get the most warm-up they can on it, I guess, for a team that doesn't get to warm up basically ever.
I'm gonna, while we have just a second, I'm gonna go dip and grab some water. You guys at home, pick up some water as well, or a drink of any kind, honestly, because we're in for the long haul for this one. I'm expecting those third maps, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this one goes.
Yeah, this is gonna be a curious map, I think. Like I said, I'm expecting a third map out of this match, given the map picks we've seen, but I don't know if Louis playing hard, they can do it. We'll see. Oh yeah, we have the Twitch prediction up live as well, for anyone curious. Chat, gambling is an investment. Get it twisted. And always go all in. Where's the fun if you don't steal everyone else's points? Also, if you didn't know, if you bet more, you win more, by the way, on Twitch predictions. That's how that works. If you go all in, you'll just get the most points back as well.
Damn, bro's gaming the system.
That's how it works. No risk, no reward.
No guts, no glory. I mean, that's pretty much been this series so far, right?
Yeah, I mean, what is competitive TF2 if not gambling? Or something, I don't know. I'm sure that analogy makes sense somewhere.
Yeah, gambling if your med dies to Odin just swinging around a corner with his fucking sword out.
Well, Med's holding Uber is basically just gambling. If your teammates are just bad enough and not reliably shooting people down, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if your team is bad, winning and losing is not really up to anyone, I guess, yeah. But neither of the teams looking particularly bad tonight. That's what I'd really like to see. No one's making any major slip-ups, and I don't know, I'm just really excited off the back of a very close Gullywash that this is going to be a really good series. Even if this is a 2-0, that would be, honestly, a ton up for the books and be really interesting of itself. So I think we've got a really fun one on our hands.
Definitely. I mean, if they win this here now, Loobie is just provably the best team against them or ever. There is
because no one. Yeah, okay.
That might not mean much, historically speaking, but the precedent has been set. So who knows? And I mean, only time will tell when the other guys climb the ranks. Which, mind you, how are those guys doing? That's still a game going on, mind you, Chad. If you thought there's only one Demo Knight, you're wrong. There are different ones playing right now, actually, as well. That is not a grand final, though.
What division is that?
That is Division 4. That's in
Yes.
the MIDI divisions.
Oh.
Let's see. They did win their half of the 4, but obviously players will face them up against the teams from the other half as well. With the funny system, and they did not win map 1.
Uh-oh.
Very much did not.
And what map was it?
So they played Metalworks.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I still think that's not great for Demo.
Currently, tonight, Demo Knight's on his last legs in both games.
Oh no.
Funny
Elimination
enough.
point, you know? But he's got to show that Bushido spirit, man. With the samurai sword.
I'm looking at the logs as well. Solar got 1 grenade launcher kill. Which is, that is curious, to say the least. There are some Prem veterans in that match as well. There's Zen in there too, playing Demo Man against Demo Knight. I'm sure that man's very happy having retired from tryharding, going down to mid after years, and then playing against the Demo Knight in playoffs.
I mean, if you're retired from tryharding, you gotta see the funny stuff, man.
I guess that's where the real weird stuff comes out. What a time to be alive.
Born just in time to watch Demo Man TF2. Demo Knight TF2 in comp.
Let's see, maybe we were born just in time to see Otto win Div 1 twice in a row somehow and still being allowed to play it.
Yeah.
You know, people do get hard banned from Open sometimes, but not much from Div 1. Maybe it's time. Maybe that's the narrative. Maybe that's the question we should ask ourselves. How long can Otto keep farming Division 1?
I believe. He needs those medals, man. He needs the gold.
Last time was but a lot more an egregious case. Last time he brought a bit more high caliber Prem players with him than this roster certainly is, but if anything, I guess it's just more credit to this lineup here as well for still getting this far.
It's been really great to see, especially like the Soldier duo of Rocher and Luca Enderman having the success that they had. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and again, Luca has been on his Soldier arc for a little while now, and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Demo Man nowhere to be found anymore. He's just Soldier Brain now.
It's so sad. Sorry.
We'll see. They're taking their sweet time. I don't know who the long break benefits more than the other team, but I mean, who knows if they're even thinking about that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I mean, Loobie gets some time to map talk this, I guess.
Yeah, the map talk. Honestly, if they're map talking, the like literal like minutes before the Div 1, grand finals, I think it's a little worrying, you know?
We should have lied and told people this is Prem, to be honest.
Yeah, they would believe us, I bet.
Imagine the narrative that would have made.
Well, maybe next year.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see Demo Knight be Demo Knight at our point in Div 1.
I believe.
Only time will tell.
I'm excited. Honestly, I think it'll be really fun to see the Demo Knight in Prem. I'm sure there are Prem people in chat who are not happy about hearing that prospect, but I think it'd be fun.
All people in chat, actually.
I don't know. I mean, but yeah, people seem to not like it. I played against it a little bit in scrims, but I am open as hell, man. So my opinion doesn't really like isn't so valid in that.
Well, chat, if you want to practice playing Demo Knight, how about you check out pastime.tf and play a game mode where there is no stalemating last. And a lot less scout, speaking of classes no one likes.
Oh man.
And no engineer.
Yeah.
And no heavy. And no pyro, and no sniper.
Well,
and also no sniper,
I'll give you that last one. That one's a win. That one's a win. Sorry, Buko, buddy. Interested to see, in particular, like how they're going to position against this Demo Knight, because we've seen a lot of teams kind of position really far back. Some of them playing back on concrete, but I feel like none of that feels particularly safe. Because honestly, I'm impressed with Odin's ability to just find flanks. Like, it's normally not something that I'm looking to praise a demo player for, but it works really well here.
It was awkward last time as well in the losers finals, because like half the stuff he didn't work, which was the attempts at the Demo Man's life. Philip really didn't have the biggest struggle living him, but the other half was exactly all the medkits they got that match, which very much did work most of the time. His numbers weren't impressive maybe, but the impact certainly has been felt afterwards. I need just a team with no heals playing against, the rest of Aware. We'll see if they can find a good middle ground there as well. It will be an interesting one here for sure.
That will be.
Well, it looks like they're readying up here as well. So we're live in a moment with the second map of the series, which should coincide just in time with the Twitch bet running out as well. So last chance, chat, to go all in. And after all, you don't need to play the game right now to win as well. You just need to be correct in who is winning. And then you can flex on everyone else, I guess. And isn't that what life is all about? We're here playing TF2 not for money. We're playing just to shit-talk the guy that loses. And I think that's beautiful.
I think it is. That's the true gaming spirit. Shit-talking the losers.
Exactly. Or if you're really bold, you shit-talk while losing yourself. We'll see what it is now. Who will have reserved themselves the shit-talk rights out of this matchup. Loobie once again in the blue. We're in the red. Quick double spy check. Want to make sure that there's no sniper. It's not a great sniper map, but I've seen it before. You never know.
We already see Odin posting up in that left house. If someone tries to contest, they might be in for a rude awakening. But it's going to be mostly spam back and forth. And this is something to keep in mind. It's normally spam is very much prioritized by the defending team, by the non-Demo Knight team, because that demo is unloading a ton, but good damage from Odin, but not quite the kill. The jump comes in, Keto goes down, but they sack way too much to make that happen. Importantly, lose safe.
Yeah, there we go. Very nicely got around everything there that was thrown at them. Only casualty was the Demo Man, and that was a quick counter kill on the Soldier 1-2. Swing and a miss once again for the Demo Knight. And with that, Loobie taking a better start here for sure. Not a bad, not a bad. Good advantage certainly in the hands as well, now like he said, say caught late in all of this. Not much of a affordable, too late to do much of that, it looks like. Giving up a lot of space, Odin threatening the flank here already. That's the charge coming through, turns the corner, gets the swing.
Let's go down.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Uber. Sake is stepping forward, has to be worried as Keshalba's already on top of them. Arentre, can they save? They can indeed. That was a little worrying for a second there, but held out well. They do keep their med alive, but there's another jump, there's some more damage, but it doesn't lead to the kill.
People, free up your rocket launcher. Don't escape plan like that, like Lupus just did. Please, I beg of you. That could have been a lot worse with all people still alive at the end. Don't quite manage to get med kills, I guess all is right in the world for aware in the end here. Loobie want to get out of the corner quickly themselves here, will also find it right away. Charge, once again, just barely falling short. Rest keep pushing up with it, however, so we're not getting a ton of space out of the demo kill just yet.
Does take down a soldier, again, kind of hampers the player's ability to run on out, but Loobie keep themselves alive for now and even take a couple of players back off of the opposing number. Awake, gonna have to back off here and even use. That is a pretty disastrous situation for themselves. Now at that 90 Uber disarm.
Alright, point turns once again. There's Odin still hiding on the flank and no one spotted him! Oh, you can't just be this unaware about what's happening on the flank. Easiest kill for any guy that is just sitting there waiting for them to make the move forward, and they are putting themselves right in front of that, and all of a sudden we're back in the picture.
Oh man, you love to see it. Odin in position again, but has their team for backup, so doesn't need to do any Roman in this moment in time, as their team will kind of start to chill out, set up, maybe look for chances to pick up a player at another time.
Let's see, point play once again starting quick by Blue as well. Doesn't get the damage, and in the meantime they're farming on point as well. No one's getting out from there. Funny kill on the flank, huge collapse at point. No one's given any mercy on this BioWare. Beautiful collapse on the team, just trying to bait out some cap time, but they preempted them very nicely.
Yeah, you got to be so careful when you're in those houses. It doesn't matter if you're a scout or a soldier. If you can't, you know, actually run away from the Demo Knight, the Demo Knight will track you down, will land that shot, and likely find the kill as well, as we've already seen many a time. There goes the Demo Knight. There goes Auto.
Break down once again. Position to keep their med alive has not quite been figured out there. Playing with a small margin there for sure, but we can't quite find it yet. Odin keep finding success. Loobie still finds the damage.
They do actually get the cap here, but no flip right back on. The med is still alive in Sake, and that's going to be 30 Uber add. Looks like it's a disconnect issue. Kido will be back in just a second.
It's on a chart, he has backup, however, and pretty glad he has off with that as well. The rest of the team focusing on the other side, where the combo's trying to escape from. They do manage to get out, but at the point stays red for just a little longer. And with that, also the final minute of the round already started off. Loobie still a minute 30 away. But catching up to do, still don't have the Uber yet. We're very aggressive here as well. Do just pop Uber forward. Scout in there as well. Big pile up into the enemy spawn area, but Auto is getting out alive, and that's really all they can ask for.
Yeah, no, actually surprising that they managed to do that. Luca Enderman will jump on in, wants to take down, and does take down Sake. Really nicely done. They do trade a couple kills back over, but that's perfectly fine to the side of Loobie as they finally get that point back and stop themselves in the lead.
And there you go, they're keeping the dream alive here. They have, of course, the map advantage right now. They have the chance to win this on this map. Still a bit behind on the clock maybe, but Lieber should have covered some of that distance for sure. Especially if the forward hold is any good and just buys him some time. Wills away some resources here. The resources running thin already. Demoman down, traded for a soldier in the end, making space on the other half of that hold as well, with the Uber Force as well. Maybe they're getting exactly what they want here, to chase into lobby. Not good enough to get any bonus kills as well. Final minute now, ticking for Blue as well. Demo spawn late to get here. Canoe not on the field by that point. They were already making the move towards cap, so no stakes anywhere on this upcoming fight as well. It comes down to everyone else to do the damage. They're trying as much as they can here, and they're getting some good damage from the flank, actually, not fair. Just keeps on pressing W, undeterred there. Luca cleans up one more time as well. Cost them a lot of players, but it might just be worth it.
Sake is dead, so we'll just respawn now, and that's 50 Uber, 60 actually. Uber ad coming out for the side of Loobie, and this will be pivotal in retaking this point and well, not too long, frankly. They're going to have to push back out. They've already moved out of right big door. We'll be looking towards that point yet again for a chance to try and catch something here. Keshal wants to try and edge it, but you see the players ready and willing to respond. And look at that, that's one hell of a response. Sending in the ballistic missile will force, but doesn't get much else. They're going to have to go for that recap.
Yeah, that's maybe good enough right now. It's gonna cut it closely. They will get you one time. They have to fight back against the forward hold almost certainly, however. Which will just buy time away from point. We'll be gladly want to see here. Keep holding close right now. We were on already up in a couple seconds here. Swat taking a lot of damage already.
Oh, that was huge. Luca waiting around the corner was big, but Auto goes down. Sake is gonna have to use. Will do it there.
Oh, no.
Keeps themselves alive, but it's alone. He's gonna run fast for that point with the sticks waiting there, and with all the players all around, Sake is forsaken.
There you go. Basically double overtime round, but loobie will take it. Just barely winning the first round.
Wow. And all that despite the fact that their Ned got dropped by Odin like 4 or 5 times.
Well, if they can stop that from happening to some extent at least, then maybe this won't even be close anymore. loobie looking pretty solid.
It'll be pretty exciting to see. See if loobie can really start to kick that up a notch, or if finally Awares start to settle into the swing of things.
If I remember correctly, loobie won the previous bit fight, right? So they had
Yes.
the advantage at the get-go here. Maybe they can find more success with the early play this time around as well. Taking their time here. I mean, you'll only get the one early charge there after all. Want to make it a good one. Definitely have a bomb with that as well. Taking their sweet time, slow start to the mid fight. Everyone just feeling out the situation a little bit here. Lucas makes the first move. Dives to the early charge. Man does not quite get the kill. Rottishell counteract coming through the other side. Sake has to surf away. Off one time, however, cannot get away there. Luca cleans up. 3 for 3 with field advantage. loobie heavily favored. There's still a bit left in the tank here. That's a force right there. Bomb on one side, sword on the other. Aaron Fear and Odin not letting Auto get a break.
Yeah, stuck between a rock and a hard place, makes the right call. And even then, I mean, it's even Ubers, right? Like, that was how well loobie played that mid fight and managed to find the success already. So this isn't even like a disaster scenario.
Let's see, still get the timer going here at least. Sake not ahead much. As he said, could be much worse. Fight right away here. What? There is worse happening already, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Keshal just gets completely jump scared. Lucas, however, not going to find that success. Auto dies again. So does Andy do. Odin, with the backup of their soldiers, is able to have such an absolute mess-making capacity.
Like, of all the things that Odin is good at, why does he have to be so quick to swing at stickies on the ground? That's
crazy.
I guess that's his only defense mechanism against stickies, but he's surprisingly quick with it.
Yeah, actually,
very
Uber.
to see here.
I was a little late, unfortunately, and dropped Buko as well. They'll be able to cap the point, yeah, but not really where they wanted to be. They wanted to use that Uber to find a little bit more of an advantage than they got. Instantly, there's gonna be like a response onto this point. Arentia is behind. Keep an eye on those soldiers, as they will be pivotal. Keshal and Kido both for Auto gets absolutely pickaxed. And that is exactly what Aware needed. I really was coming into that and going, wow. The position for loobie here looked so great, but with the Renter behind, it was a problem.
Disgusting stuff. Odin hit what so much damage. I don't even know how much it was. He killed 2 people and basically killed the Double Man. Disgusting stuff there out of the Double Knight as well. Puts himself behind Odin. Doesn't go for the instant charge, doesn't like the corner there, but still has time to go a second try around anyway. This time, however, the rest of the team is there to help out. Mixed results actually in some ways. Maybe a few more than they would like, but they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, Sake stays alive and goes down. That sacking ability is just so potent right now. And, I mean, again, Aware are so brilliant at making good usage of those opportunities.
Well, certainly can keep the timer going off of just a few good plays back to back. There's Weaver coming out too late to defend the point, actually. No one also just gets it, so there's a lot less fight. At the back end of this push, they get 2 kills, but those were the ones capping, and by that point, the rest of them are out just fine. Not great captain, no, really, but with the Weaver gone, there's a big hurdle already removed for a potential comeback.
Not like particularly problematic for me either. They didn't like delay any of their players. They didn't lose anything. Again, actually pretty reserved in a lot of these scenarios that can be very successful for them. Keto goes down, and without that firepower, it might be difficult to push out of this position. However, the scouts come up there. Keshalb in particular is going nuts here as pushes forward aggressively with Andadude now. Orentre has to get out of there, doesn't want to go down, but still craters away. And Sake survives, yes, but with the Uberad for Auto, with the position and the point control now, this is back in the hands of loobie. Yes, they're down time, but they're not down anything else.
So far, so good. There is still a chance in all of this as well. Try to forward hold to just min-max whatever they can out of this position as well. Charge around the corner. Ooh, I think that was too wide actually to still work in the end, but Otto got scared, and maybe for good reason. The soldiers a little late to the party, but certainly still got exactly to the medic in the end. Might have been forced by the Demo Knight's presence, but the soldiers more than justified it in the end. Triple sack will work. All of a sudden that overcharge is back in the worst favor.
Yeah, Luko gets picked off right away. Really good from Rocher there. Good to find that. Luke Enderman jumps in, put the pressure with Keto here. Keto, but does finally fall. But that is going to be the Uber usage. But with Auto gone, this is fine. This is okay. This is exactly like what they needed to try and win out this fight here. Andadude applies the pressure. You can see the soldier and Rocher wanting to find that success too. Good stuff coming on in and just does a little loop. Really nicely done by Sake and the rest of the team to actually hold this one in position.
See how far they can carry this one forward from here. Minute left against 40 seconds, ticking down actively right now. Charge through the flank. Just get the scout just trying to live up to the name of the class. Scout out the situation a little bit. Just be too far ahead. Demo Knight will catch up with you just fine. One more chance here. Does not quite work out to do us the damage.
But Keto still falls!
They're following through with that. They're not letting just have this one-man place here.
I think this is the really important thing. Everything this team does, they do as a team. And obviously, that's quite a big characteristic for most teams playing here in Div 1. But it's really impactful to how they sack and use those triple sacks to great effect. Likely going to be Sake using here to keep their team alive. If they can get Auto here, that's Uber denied, and they just take this one away.
There you go. That's a round on the board. 1-1. Game is staying close. Both teams on the board now. Bit of a better round for away in many ways than the previous one. Stopped them very nicely, making even a move out of spawn a couple times as well. To buy themselves a lot of time. I don't know if they can keep that aggression going, however. Auto survivability is the thing holding it all together in the end for loobie.
Oh, indeed. Luko already trying to clear those stickers off, give the space, but Luku gets a sword in, and look who jumps in immediately. Rentra is there, but the counter sack was beautiful. With Sake falling, and very sensibly, Auto nowhere to be seen. This is exactly where they really needed to be.
Or is he somewhere to be seen? Odin from the left flank misses and straight forward charge. And the rest of the team not there to help it out anymore.
Alert. The control point
After all that, it's the easy charge we miss.
And this is a really great start again for loobie. They managed to get the advantage in terms of getting the cap point, having the Uberad, having everything they darn well need. But we've seen them have this advantage before and very much lose it very quickly as well. Odin on the case is always someone to be feared.
Peeking forward here as well, seeing if he can get away with something funny as well. But yeah, like I said earlier, the angle is not there. You might not like how far Demo Knight can turn, but he can't turn like that around that corner. Not quite. Isn't going to work out there. That will not succeed. Lucas tried to help out somewhere along the way. Couldn't even get close on his end. So a funny double sack, triple sack even, I guess, that we saw last round. Not happening this time around as well on that. A minute's already gone, basically.
Yeah. And again, one of the problems with stacking sometimes is obviously you do use that time, and if you don't find the success, which normally the success rate for Aware is pretty high, it's a real problem, and it does mean you're just spending more and more of that time getting cut off again and again, and then eventually you have to use the Uber, like we're seeing right now. But with Auto milking it for a second, they have the Uber later, and you just cannot find anything there. They finally put those soldiers forward, and the scout, they smell blood in the water with the sword back up and everybody else diving in. Does make it out somehow. I really thought it was going to get caught there. But auto fell, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, the Demo Man living that is a very small consolation prize compared to the three-pronged approach of Demo middle, soldier high right, and the scout from the leftover point just eating them alive.
Left house for the red side in a lot of pressure here, but they just go in again. Ito is dead. The scout of Keshal falls yet again. They cannot keep this player away. Odin and Arentra and Lupus just so well coordinated and just finding those opportunities.
And that was supposed to be a charge on the medic as well, and they just pivoted away from that, so all the guys sitting outside the door already. Who needs to matter at that point? Just get the easy kills that are presenting themselves. And it works just fine. They're catching up a bit on in the clock here as well. Oculus Uber at least will be up. That's all the time here just fine. Buko down early. Nice job, Buka. Uber does come out there very early, does get right into Demo's face, but that's not the kill they want right now. That's not the one they need anyway.
Yeah, really nicely done to instantly go over to that Demo Man who is very happy to be unkillable and also charging at the enemy team.
Soldier still behind Lupus from the back line comes in. That's the force right there. Everyone thought they survived what matters here. The Demo Man down, but Lupus flanked around. It's a long way in the meantime. I'm sure Odin would have loved to have seen that guy a second sooner, but at least he got there before they left the back area of their own half of the map. With that, at least they get the force out of the equation. Forward hold it will be out of this one. See how much value you get out of this one, just as Aware was starting to catch up with time. It's going back the other way.
Antidude gone. Very happy to take that player advantage and make it work for them rather than messing around anything here. They clear up the stickies, they take the point. Rothschild wants to try and get something going, but it's not really there. Auto is gone again, and Odin will not let up.
At this point, oh wait a second, big bomb coming through. There we go. Two players can play that game. Don't need a sword or a shield to fly it on the Demo on the medic sometimes. Will work just well enough, and the rest of the team actually cleaning up well. Omgun goes down too. It is just a fight for survival, and doing a better job of it right now.
Yeah, I thought Odin going in there might have been really impactful, but doesn't quite lead to it. Buko trades 1-1, but that's perfectly fine by them. Not too hard done by our loobie. And they will kind of sit in this position again. I think one of the big things that's really important to note is that aggression very rarely stops. They're very happy to put players behind and very happy to just bait and bait and bait and bait. And then Aware, they'll naturally find an opportunity with one of those soldiers, that or the Demo or a scout or anyone, and then get that important pick. And as we said before, they leverage off that so well.
Certainly, and as a reward, loobie now on their part at least to stop all of the onslaughts that were throwing at them. Get themselves a good little advantage in the last 40 seconds. This is a very good spot to be in. Damage keeping them very in check here as well right now, but time is forcing them to move quick. Demo charge comes through, gets some good damage, no kills just yet. Nice land right on the scout, hits another 2x65 on the scout. The Kajal will go down for it in an awkward trade, but that trade will also involve Uber being forced at the end.
But they need to go now.
Time.
Yeah, it's 15 seconds on the clock. They have Uber, yes, but they've got to get there. 10 seconds on the clock. It's ticking away. They're diverting to be worried about some of the other players. And Sake honestly might just get forced in a second here. They will indeed. They're going to sit on that point and push some of those players forward to try and find something. But with a minute on the clock and that overtime still in tow for loobie here, this is great. All they need to do is build Uber on auto, not get caught by the Demo Knight, and then go from there. But look at that!
Big mess in enemy territory. We're just going deep. And you know what? It's not working.
It didn't, no. You know, I was going to say this team sometimes bites off a little more than they can chew, and this is absolutely that scenario. Look at Omga able to get out here, Sake under a lot of pressure, but it's going to have to try and sit on that point. Otherwise, it's just no dice. They're going to lose in a second. And there it is, 2-1. And loobie looking like they might just take this hit.
Yeah, it's close rounds all around, but loobie on a match point. Maybe they can clutch this one out just about. All they need is just this one last 3 minutes to clock down for them first. And they get 2 tries at it.
And they do. I'm interested to see if they're able to take it here, because they've just looked so on point. In spite of losing so much, they've maintained their calm, they've maintained their chill and shown us what is befitting of a Div 1 champion here in the Grand Finals today. And I think loobie are looking like it. Aware they can taste it, but it's just not quite in their jaws.
The control point is being captured.
Once again, slow start as the charge comes to Charles caught once again. Big bomb in the meantime. They're looking at the guy on point. Little did they know, Luke is up in the skies. We'll get the big damage going here. Counterattacks once again. Make this much more of a mess than it was looking like at the beginning here in the end. Clutch out the victory maybe for the midpoint, but every time it starts going right, Save dies somewhere along the way.
It's quite amusing to see, honestly, the fact that they're so hard committing to these counterattacks, and I think it's absolutely the right thing to do. When the demo man can kind of force you instantly, he's got to commit towards it, and this team does love committing forward, so punish them for it. Make them regret the fact that their combo just doesn't have that extra player in it, really providing in the same way. Buko gets the kill on the Grenderman, but Luca has backup in Andidu. They will get that. They will take control of the point continually and deny any of these players away. Omga jumps in to try and find something, but it's starting to become a drought for Aware somehow.
Certainly, bomb works. Limited success there, I guess. Enough damage to clean up on Roger. That's maybe not enough, however, to really call this good enough, and the scouts just do the rest of the dirty work. And even cleaning up house, that's the point back to their favor. That was a decently long time, considering that none of this really was in a worse controller. That they actually got the time out of this is pretty generous, at least. But things have settled now. The fight has ended, and with now the advantage and the point both in blue team's favor. Maybe for long enough to make the difference.
They do. Jumps on out. Lupus wants to make space for their team, but it's Kido who goes down to Odin here. But it's only one pick. They don't have the rest of, well, anything really here. They're going to have to chill out again.
Alright, both demos down here. Back to their own spawn, however, it's not exactly where they want to be. First minutes clocked off Lubie's timer. And they're still sitting pretty comfy here as well. Sek has Uber finally. Been a while since he lived for long enough to do that. Find a good opening to use it as well, and I don't think we're getting there. He's already eating 140, sorry, 110, trying to get even a foot into lobby as well.
Yeah.
Odin is there rotating.
Looking for a chance to roll out here with Lupus, but it's going to be the Uber trade on either side. Odin is waiting for that post Uber, but he's actually going to have to eat up some of that themselves, and Buko dies as a result. This time, Sake not able to have any kind of success with that.
That will not get them any space at all. Scouts late to spawn too, after all is said and done, and with that, Lubie's now on their final minute, potentially, of this match. They don't need much more to win this whole thing. Buko down early slows things down even further.
This is the difference between them and Prem right now. 55 seconds on the clock, the sacks are going in, they're going to try and take more than just Andidude. But Andidude very happy to be that sacrifice for their team if necessary. With Sake falling to these stickies, it's looking even more dire with every passing moment for Aware here. They try to get aggressive, they try to make it happen, but Odin just can't do it this time.
Try as they might, the medic will stay alive, and that's exactly what they needed after the weird start to the game on Loobie. Otto is just getting out of these situations as well. The rest of the team playing very aggressive at the forward hold as well. They're getting all the mileage in the world just sitting aggressive here against them, and Aware can't find the answer.
Buko on the sniper takes down Auto. That's the medic drop. It's the quadruple pick comp right now. They're going for it. They're going to try and take control of the point, but with Odin getting caught here, with Buko falling, and everything going wrong for them right now, it's not exactly where they want to be. They've lost so much. Keshal is on top of Omga, and yeah, they go down, but it's just Aaron Trier alive. The rest of them are still respawning, still trying to get that point, and it's overtime right now. Auto just needs to build. It's just one opportunity to take it all.
Last-ditch effort here, even just now camping for the first time. Maybe, obviously, a blessing in hindsight, of course, getting it by the spawns here, but they cannot lose it again. They have to sit on point the entire time. Buko sniping gets some good shots out of this as well. Nice defensive charge there too. They want the sniper out of the equation. They can't quite get there. Buko staying alive. Maybe overvaluing the sniper here is a dangerous game to play right now. They just need to make sure that they have one good Uber charge. And once they got there, then it doesn't matter if the sniper hits anything on guys that are invincible. Otto to that end, of course, played safe here. That was merely just a sack wave in the end. long as the resulting Uber is in their favor, this is all they need here.
Already moving out, looking to try and take some control of White House as the rest of the team starts to move on in. This is where they want to play from. Uber popped quite early here. A lot of players. Does mean that Sake has to try and flash quite a few players. Wants to jump in and catch someone, but there's still the flash remaining. Trades 2 for 2 with Keto gone. It's a lot of firepower lacking. Can they find more? 2 players down. A disadvantage right now for Aware as loobie want to make it happen. You can see Keshal hunting for some of these players as they slip back round. They focus on the point. The players all fall. And Aware are out. It is all loobie, baby, as they take the grand finals and they take Div 1.
A very impressive stuff. Very well played, Bagel. That looked very easy by the end, especially compared to the early game. And that's kind of what I was kind of expecting out of this team. Of course, we mentioned the main calling here mattering a lot on this team as well, and how much time and effort Auto likes to put in these new projects. And this was a great showcase of that. It started a lot worse than it ended. They figured things out on the fly here very nicely, so I will say. And just I realized what needs to change and how to just stop these charges from being as impactful as they were early game. Couple of that, just greatly realizing exactly what they need to do on that forward hold there in the first half of the round. And just that got them so much value. And the way I just could not keep up on the strategic level.
Yeah, they just couldn't, unfortunately. It was some nice attempts and honestly an honourable performance from the side of Aware across this season, but here on the final day, just not able to have that success on a map where they consider themselves very strong. I mean, this is one of the few times they've actually dropped rounds on this map, and to lose 3-1 here is a pretty brutal thing. We were expecting that 3-game series, but I mean, loobie dispatched them.
That also means my favorite statistic is now gone.
Oh.
Aware and Sega finally lost after 2 years of playing with or against each other. It's finally backfired. But in the end, loobie very much deserves this one. Impressive game here. Big clutch, I guess, map 1. Can't forget about that. That was up in the air until the final seconds. That's the kind of drama you love to see in a match like this one. So I'm very happy with what we've been given here.
And we were talking, right, about the Soldier duo and just how absolutely terrifying they were together. And you can see it here. Luca Enderman and Rothschild, top of that DPM. Brilliant kills coming through as well, finding so much. I want to highlight that their counter sacks were integral to what allowed loobie to pick up the win here.
Like, later down the line, Auto still died a couple times towards, like, the midsection of the game, but he just always had something ready. Sake was not allowed to survive on the back of that, and they made sure of that, and they caught a lot more than the Sake usually with it too.
Yeah. No, I mean, the problem is right, when you go all in, sometimes you just don't have that defensive ability for your medic, and I think loobie very carefully and very consideredly realized that was the problem, that was the weakness, and we're able to exploit it quite well here today. I'm interested to see how well they're going to do in Prem. I think this squad is super exciting and should be really good fun to see.
Maybe Auto pulls the same move as last season and just goes back to Div 1 again and leave these guys to their own devices. And there's precedence for that now, I suppose. It wasn't a terrible season for them. I suppose up in Prem 4, his old lineup. We'll see. He just shovels people into Prem these days, I guess. It's an honest living, I suppose.
No, absolutely. And I mean, really solid team as a whole in how they were playing together, and I think Auto is a big part of that. So I would hope to see them in Prem, but if they continue to have that success over in Div 1, here in Div 1 yet again, I mean, it would be exciting to see. Definitely made for some great games this season.
Well, for the sad news for some people, but probably good news for most, it is very unlikely that, for what I've been told, which is one message, that we'll see Aware next season potentially. It's kind of up in the air, but it wasn't very likely, I think, is what they mentioned. So if you're an aspiring Prem roster, you might not have to play against them in Prem preseason qualifiers next season. So this is good news for all of you out there, because that would certainly happen otherwise if they were to continue.
Unfortunate to see, but
which would be very funny, because this was a very well practiced Div 1 team, and they would in that play against new Prem like lineups.
Yeah,
with like a weeks of practice or something. That would be a very awkward matchup. We'll see. That's obviously not until next year. This is now for these guys at least a long winter break, but not for everyone. The 4 also just ended the semifinals, the last one. which bad news for annoying people. Demo Knight also lost that game, which means the Div 4 finals next week at some point, we don't know when yet, will be Mid Panda, the big boomer roster, against the Russian team whose name I forgot, from also Div 4A, I believe. That still is going to happen at some point soon in the future. Tuesday, we already know one more game is coming as well. There's still a couple of other finals happening. We know one that's definitely going to be happening. On Tuesday, it's Division 2 Grand Finals. I will prioritize that over all the other ones that happen. I will just do top 3 bottom, so Div 2 is next on the line, I guess, after Div 1. So a good chance this lands here. If not, I will just stream it on my own stream just fine, I guess. But we'll try our best to get that covered here as well. Should be a really good game. That is Choking Hazard against Mfrag, I believe. 2 rosters that also played a very close match against each other last time they played, and with narrow semifinals victories each, that should be honestly looking a lot like this, to be honest, just with less Demo Knight and more choking on the line, I think, given how their matches have been going this season. So expect more of that. We'll figure out when the rest of Div 3, Div 4, open and low, are playing the rest of their games as well. I think all of those are going into Grand Finals the upcoming week as well. No promises for any of them, but we'll see what we can do. But I will promise you Div 2 in some capacity being streamed for sure. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for watching as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. For those of you who are mad in chat and very happy to see the Demo Knight lose, hope you guys are happy, man. But I've been Rook. I've been joined by DumTM, and on production has been Stu the Do, who's been helping us out all day, even if he does forget to change those scenes sometimes. He's been absolutely invaluable in helping us get this broadcast to you. I hope you've all had a wonderful evening, and I hope you have a good one as well. So good night, and see you next time.